I like to argue. I love arguing, actually. But for somebody who loves arguing so much and who enjoys it, I don't engage in it that often. Or I should say, a lot of people don't like to engage in it with me as often. Because, I mean, I'm not the one to really start arguments, but I have no problem with stating my beliefs and what I know openly. And I know that my beliefs and my views are very controversial. And so, I guess in essence, I mean, that is me starting an argument, but state I don't state my beliefs or my opinion, even my opinions or what I know openly to argue. I do it for authenticity. That's really the reason why I do it. I do it so people can understand who I am and where I'm coming from. But I find it very funny because people who tells me that they do not like to argue and they don't engage in arguments. When I share with them my controversial beliefs or information that I have studied, I go to school for economics, I study philosophy, I study psychology, I study technology, I study a lot of variety of different things, but my bread and butter, my ground base, my foundation of where I start from is economics. I mean, if anything is going to be the study of truth, I would say it would be certainly economics. I mean, economics is the science, it's the study of scarcity. Not the science, but I would say it's the study of scarcity, legitimately the study of scarcity. And what is a better symbol of our reality than scarcity and of this world and scarcity? So I never really understood that. When people will tell me, that they don't like to argue, but I share with them my controversial beliefs, and then I find myself in an argument with them. And one thing that I have realized is that many people who don't like to argue, they are terrible. They are terrible at arguing. I mean, I would say that a lot of people who don't like to argue also, they engage in it. They tell me this that they don't like arguing, but they do it openly. They negate specifically, literally, what I say. And with my thought process, I'm not trying to argue, which I don't mind arguing at all, but it's never my intention to try to argue. And then I find myself being negated. I find somebody completely saying what my viewpoints or what my studies is or what I'm saying is wrong and not accurate. And me, I am a person who stands very firm on what I believe in and what I say. I do not be silent. Now, don't get me wrong. When I say arguing, I'm not talking about so much as getting in shouting matches, fighting, or any of that nonsense. I am very confrontational. I am very controversial. But I don't engage in shouting. I don't engage in fighting or any of that nonsense. I don't engage in any of that stuff. I don't have the energy for that stuff. But what I do engage in and what I do love is conflicting conversations. Being around people who challenges me. Being around people who does not agree always with what I say. Now, that does not mean that I want to be around people who does not respect facts and does not respect the truth. But that's not the same as people who has to only want to be around you to be comfortable with you and with you being in their space by you always agreeing with them. That to me is a person who doesn't care about growth. How can you grow when somebody just agrees with everything you say? Because not everything you say is true. I mean, maybe it could be true, but if you know for a fact that the stuff that you believe in, you have not proven it yourself. You don't have the empirical evidence, the data to prove of what you believe in. So I hate being around people like that, because it's to me it's I don't even know how a word for it. To me it's toxic. It's negative, because I'm like, I am a person who's obsessed with growth. Everywhere I go, everything I do, every second of my life, I spend it on chasing the highest version of myself and getting better and learning and developing and instilling more knowledge, intelligence, and most of all, wisdom within me. People tell me I'm smart all the time, but I honestly really don't care too much about being smart. I care more about wisdom. And I don't really meet people who argue. They are terrible at arguing, They'll have these witty comebacks, or they'll try to get in shouting matches and all this, and it's just, and they have no foundation of reasoning whatsoever. But I want to stress the fact that arguing, it's very, very healthy when you know how to do it. When you know how to argue, you become more of a better philosopher. You understand reasoning. You become very persuasive as an individual. We argue all the time, all day, every day. All of us do, rather subconsciously, rather we think we do or do not. I recognize that, so that's why I say that I love arguing. It's, to me, in my wholehearted opinion, I haven't researched this or anything, and that's something that I do say as well. I will say something as my opinion if I have not specifically researched it and found that it was factual. So I will say my opinion and my belief. So in my belief and in my opinion, arguing is so healthy. And it's healthy because when we have a vision in our mind of where we want to be or go in life, at least I believe we should, because some people, I guess, doesn't have a vision. But say you have a vision, you have a belief, you have your principles, you have your core values, you have your morals, you have your moral compass, the things within you that you believe in, and that makes you as who you are, your beliefs, all that. So with all that being said, you should know how to argue, and you should know how to prove what you believe in. You should be able to at least have good reason of what your values and what your beliefs are in. And to me, people who are visionaries, and especially entrepreneurs, they should be masters at arguing. Arguing is the art of persuasion. When you, and for me, in my personal brand, I everything that I do is I talk about my mantra: start with self, and my foundation is truth, finding the truth, being honest, being authentic with myself. Because no matter what, I am always going to be honest and authentic and pure. No matter what, I don't care how it makes you feel or who might stir or whatever. I'm at least I'm honest. Actually, I'm writing a book that the title is called "At Least I'm Honest." But I would say this though, is that learning how to argue, it does help you solidify yourself of who you know what you are more. When you have more clarity and then you have a vision, you have to know how to persuade others to believe in that vision, or at least you should, especially if you're an entrepreneur or you're a writer or you're anything. Because anywhere we go, we are selling. And this is all a connection. We all are salespeople. We sell all the time. Whether you go into a job interview, you're selling yourself, or you're talking to your kids, or you're talking to your mother, you're selling something. So which means you also are arguing about something. And which also means is that you are trying to persuade something. So being a great arguer is being a great philosopher, being very persuasive. And it's highly important. But it's more important at mastering it and not just getting all caught up in your emotions and your feelings and trying to have witty comebacks and trying to win an argument. Are you trying to win an argument, or are you trying to seek the truth? That's another thing too. Because really, if you are trying to win an argument, you're always going to win an argument. But that does not mean that you will always be right. More than likely, it's going to definitely mean that you are more wrong than ever. Because winning an argument doesn't mean that you're speaking facts. It doesn't. And so I think I read a quote. It was, I wish I could remember this quote, but I read a quote. It said something, I'm paraphrasing. It said something about winning an argument with somebody who's intelligent or smart is incredibly hard. But trying to win an argument against somebody who's stupid is impossible. So think about that. When I'm going to end it on that note, I want you to think about being a master of arguing, being a master of persuasion, philosophy. These are very important, crucial skills of any human being to have. I hear people say they hate sales. No matter whether you like it or not, you are involved in sales. You are a salesperson. You might suck at it, but you are involved in sales. So learn to embrace these things, learn to master these things, and you will become a better person. You will keep growing. And you will join me on this journey of chasing the highest version of self.